What's up, everyone? Onorato and Miller live from King's Tavern, Saratoga Springs, right across from the race course. Travers Week. You can feel the energy in the Spa City for sure. The 155th running of the Travers Stakes. We'll talk about the field that is set up for this race on Saturday. There's a filly in this race that everybody's talking about. We'll see if Torpedo Anna can make century-old history. No filly has won the Travers since 1915. We'll talk about that. But we've got Aaron Judge on a heater right now. Can he break his 2022 record for most home runs in the American League in a single season? We'll talk about that. And, of course, we've got NFL training camp and notes as well. And a guest this week, Ash. Who is it?
A great guest. Yeah, a local guy who we've been trying to track down for a while now. From here in Saratoga, went to school here, played football here, then played football at Notre Dame, which you're a fan of. Anthony Weaver, the current defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. What a job for him. A big opportunity for him. You caught up with him earlier this week.
Yep. All right, let's go. Onorato Miller.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpen House.
A shout out to Alpen House, but also our other local business partners here, Saratoga Eagle and Bevs, and they present the show here from King's Tavern for us. We'll talk about some of the great football specials Saratoga Eagle has coming for the NFL season, which is only 2 weeks, and we are 2 weeks away. As we do the show live on a Thursday night, August, whatever the heck it is, 22nd, 2 weeks from tonight, we will kick off the NFL season.
A couple weeks, maybe even last week, I said, I hate the idea of football because it means fall. And even though I love the season of fall, it also means winter is coming. And I love summer. I love being outside, enjoying the weather, coming to the track, and it's so quickly all just going away. But every time we say now I'm excited again. So now I'm excited for fall. It's such a give and take.
And you'd say, why can't they play football in the summer? But really, you'd spend all your time inside watching football.
It's bad enough that we spend all of our time during the fall and winter inside watching football.
It's not that bad. Aaron Judge chasing his own history here, Ash. He's on pace now for 61 home runs. He had another homer on Thursday afternoon. That makes it 4 in 3 games. He's got 48 for the season. 62 is his record from 2022. I thought that number is unapproachable. Once he did it, I thought, okay, but here we are. I mean, he's got a month and a half to go of the season, and he needs 14 home runs to tie it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and as long as he doesn't slump, like really slump at any point, he's obviously got a shot to do it because he's hitting at least 1 home run a night, if not 2 sometimes. But you use I love the word heater, and it's become kind of a thing. Like we used to be heat check in basketball, and now you're on a heater, you're on a tear. He's on that, and then some.
And Juan Soto would win MVP in the American League if not for his teammate and new buddy Aaron Judge here. Soto's got a career high. I think he's up to 38 home runs now.
And no one's really talking about him. It's so good.
You know, Judge. Okay, let's spin it this way because the Yankees are still in that fight, obviously, for a division title. They're now up, as we sit here on a Thursday night, up a full game on Baltimore. But is Judge enough? Yes, they still have Soto, but outside of those two guys, is there enough production in this lineup to give you hope come October?
No. No is the short answer. Listen, Aaron Judge can do a lot for you, but they needed Giancarlo Stanton on Thursday afternoon to hit a 3-run homer. Garrett Cole was really good. 6 scoreless, I think he went. Only 2 strikeouts, which isn't. Those strikeout numbers aren't great for him. But as long as he's not giving up runs, he's given up 1 hit. Not even forget the runs. Not really giving up hits. If they get him to pitch like that and can get Nestor was pretty good the other night. get 2 legit starting pitchers, and then you need somebody. It can't just be Judge and Soto because they're back-to-back in the lineup. You need somewhere like a little bit of space, somewhere in the middle to the bottom of the lineup that's going to manufacture, because there are nights when we talked about to get a runner on third, no outs, don't bring them in. How does that happen? Unless there's an error, you don't bring them in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the lineup is not very long. The rotation is not exactly deep. Luis Heel goes to the injured list. So is all of this window I don't know. Look, it's fun to get excited about in August, but the larger picture is we've already seen this done before. So not that it's old news if he goes to 63. Obviously, it's a new record. But at the end of the season, everybody is only going to ask, did they make it to the World Series? I mean, maybe the question is, did they win the World Series? But gosh, it's been so long since they even just reached the World Series. That it becomes the question now as well. How was the postseason for this team? And I don't know. I mean, do you love any team in the AL that much more than the Yankees? Maybe Houston?
At this point, Houston's starting to figure it out. They struggled at points early on in the year, but they're starting to figure it out. And you just know how that team works every year. At playoff time, they're really, really good. Verlander's back. He looked great. I am not, and I said it, I think last year, maybe even the year before that, until the Yankees win in the postseason and don't disappoint. And for me, it's not even, I don't know that winning a World Series is what it has to be for me. Getting to the World Series would be nice, but they've been so underwhelming in the World Series. The offense has dropped off the map. Judge has gone into hiding. So even if Judge is red hot, he himself alone is not enough. And I'm just not convinced that that's going to be a different playoff team than they've been the last 5-6 years. And I think, again, all the questions will come back to, what's wrong with this team? Aaron, now you've got Juan Soto. Is it Aaron Boone? What is it?
Is there anything more New York than this? I mean, talk about just a bad look. A Little League World Series manager, he's from the South Shore Little League team, that's Staten Island, called out Aaron Judge. Hey, yeah, Jason Dominguez and a couple other guys, but it would have been nice if Aaron Judge actually acknowledged our team, turn around, wave to the guys. This is the crew that pays your salary, which isn't true. A bunch of 12-year-olds aren't paying for his salary. But it just, I mean, dude, you're at the Little League World Series where the Yankees are. Your team has just met some of the New York Yankees. Have a little gratitude in life, right? This just seemed to me come on, man. Really? We're going to complain about Aaron Judge the day of a game not taking enough time to spend with your team of Little Leaguers?
Yeah, listen, it's sour grapes for me, but it's Williamsport is such a magical experience. Why would you ruin it? And now the attention's all on him. It's not on his team. It's not on the kids. And Aaron Judge is getting asked questions. Aaron Boone is getting asked questions at post-game press conferences. What do you think about this? And I'm not even going to acknowledge it, which was good on them. But come on, man. It's so shallow. And Judge spent time with some of the kids. There were pictures of him with kids. He was up in the broadcast booth with people. He did a lot. He's the biggest, outside of Shohei Ohtani, he's the biggest star on the planet in the game of baseball. And to be well, yeah, when he was on deck, we were calling his name. Could you imagine if Aaron Judge, every time someone called the guy's name, turned around and was hey, guys, and waved? There has to be, you have to draw a line at some point.
Yeah. Sam's watching. Sam, good to have you with us here. He says, shut up, coach. Terrible behavior. Yeah, and listen, we talk all the time, but about especially, Little Leaguers kind of mimicking or mirroring the behavior of a coach. And Carol's here tonight. Sam just said hello. Carol and her son Josh are here tonight to hang out with us a little bit here at King's Tavern in Saratoga Springs. Talking about Little Leaguers, mimicking the behavior of the adults and the coaches there. This is a prime example of you are setting a bad example, dude. Relax.
Bad example.
Relax.
And they probably wouldn't have even really noticed. Cool, we got to watch.
Yeah, they would have all said oh, I wish I could have met Aaron Judge. I got a picture with Aaron Judge.
I wish he waved to me, but now you've made it this whole thing about Judge is a bad guy. Yeah, he's a terrible guy because he didn't come on. He didn't wave at you. Not the end of the world.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, let's take a break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we'll get into some of the NFL training camp stuff that's happening. Which team is missing its star receiver holdout more, the Cowboys or the Bengals? My Dirty Difficult Done will take us to Major League Baseball, and Ash has a fun one from NFL preseason. We're back on Onorato and Miller right after this.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Using the highest quality materials, artisanal craftsmanship, and creative design, we're ready to help bring the vacation experience to your own home. With custom-designed Legacy Edition pools, we're confident we can turn your backyard into your own personal oasis. And we'll be by your side through the whole process. Get outside this summer with Alpenhaus. Be sure to visit our brand new 16,000 square foot showroom expansion on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And back at King's Tavern in Saratoga Springs ahead of the 155th Travers, which runs on Saturday evening. You know, Ash, let's do that now because by the time that race goes off, people are watching us on TV. You may have already seen the winning horse cross the finish line. Here are some of the highlights in the starting gate. 8 horses. We've got half the field here. Dornoch, which won the Belmont, Haskell, and now trying to pull off the summer triple crown, if you will, trifecta, adding the Travers. And what a big feather in his cap it would be for 3-year-old champion of the year if he can win the Travers Stakes here. Of course,
that's the Jason Worth horse.
Partially owned by Jason Worth, exactly. Torpedo Anna is the only filly in the race. It's rare enough that you get a filly. We got a B here that Ash is going to try to swat. I'm telling you right now. Okay. I think you may have made contact. It's rare enough that a filly even enters the field for the Travers. Winning is a whole nother story. 1915 is the last time a filly won the Travers Stakes. Is Torpedo Anna good enough to do it? She's tied for second on the morning line with Fierceness, which won the Jim Dandy, and I believe was the favorite in the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby, at least on the morning line favorite. So that's a big horse in this as well. And then Sierra Leone is the Chad Brown horse for the locals. He'll take on a lot of money, and he's been so close a couple of times. Lost by a nose at the Kentucky Derby, came second to Fierceness in the Jim Dandy. He's got the closing speed to win this race. It's just obviously a very talented field.
Talented field. Listen, I'm all about the girl. I think it's such a great story. You're going to get people in the building who are going to bet her. They'll probably drive the price way down because they love the idea of a filly in a race this big. What was Swiss? What was her? I forget her name, but she ran in the Travers.
Yeah.
Did she not?
Yeah.
And that was the same. It was the same type of feeling around that horse. Everybody was rooting for her. Everyone wanted to. So I think there will be plenty of people. I'll be one of them because, to be honest with you, I haven't followed horse racing as closely because I haven't been there covering it every day. But I love the idea of a filly in there just to make it fun.
Mark likes Sierra Leone. He says filly isn't winning this one. She's not Rachel Alexander.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, Rachel Alexander was a one of a kind, that's for sure. Weather looks phenomenal for Saturday in the Travers, so the crowd should be big. The conditions of the track should be perfect. This will be a fun one because I think it's a good betting race. There'll be people out there who find there are a few long shots in here, 15 to 20 to 1, that I'm sure people will find exotics that make sense with that. Things are filling up here at King's Tavern in Saratoga. Thursday night in the Spa City, a great time to be out here. All right, let's talk about some NFL training camp stuff here, because this is getting down to the wire now. We still have CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase holding out from training camp. And for as much as Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, has said, we're making progress, this is a priority now, it still doesn't feel like it's close to the finish line. So which team needs their star receiver more, or which team is currently missing their star receiver?
I'm gonna talk future, so not current necessarily. If they both continue to stay out, I think it'll end up being Cincinnati that misses him more, because I think And I get it. CeeDee Lamb is arguably the best receiver in the league.
But the Cowboys don't have a T. Higgins.
I know, but I think the Cowboys have other pieces. I think they didn't lose as much as the Bengals did in the offseason. I think maybe they're just a better overall team than Cincinnati, so I think Cincinnati needs that star more.
Okay.
But
Jake Ferguson is an emerging tight end in Dallas. I mean, I look at the quarterback and I say, well, if there's one guy I trust to kind of make up for the difference of losing a star receiver, it's Joe Burrow over Dak Prescott. But I think Cincinnati's ceiling is higher than Dallas's. So I'm going to agree with you that Jamar Chase is more important this year for Cincinnati than CeeDee Lamb is for Dallas. I don't like the Cowboys this year. I like the Bengals if Chase is going to be on the field. This is a big one to watch. I mean, we are out of time here. Again, we're 2 weeks away from kickoff. Both of these teams will play that opening Sunday. You were going to say something before I cut you off. All right. A couple of rookie quarterbacks named starters. We knew Caleb Williams would be the starter. And we knew Jaden Daniels would be the starter as well, but it's made official in Washington. And then Bo Nix, who, again, you figured had to be on the inside track to be the starter in Denver, given the competition of Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. But Nix officially named the guy from Sean Payton.
yeah, I'm going to give myself credit here. We got to go back and watch 2 weeks ago. Chris doesn't remember this conversation from 2 weeks ago. I said, I think I said that. Bo Nix, I know, and I think we both thought Bo Nix would be the starter.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if it was Jaden Daniels who we were also talking about. I know it was J.J. McCarthy, which J.J.'s not – I thought he would start. He obviously is not going to start. Torn meniscus. He's out for the year. He won't take a snap, but it's not because he's not capable. I believe he would have won that job for Minnesota. I'm not surprised at all by Bo Nix. I think he's one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks, and he's in a good place. Sean Payton is going to be a guy that is going to love to have Bo Nix, and I think it's just the fans are ready for a winning team again because it's been a few years now.
Yep.
But first rookie quarterback since who?
John Elway.
To
be a week one starter.
Since a rookie quarterback has started week one in Denver. So that'll be pretty cool to see. I'm excited for Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be fun to watch. I'm not sure how good Washington will be. But it should be fun. There's a lot of young talent in the league. A lot of young talent.
I like Denver to go over their win total. It's 5.5. You can tease it down to 4.5. I like that even better. But I do like them to go over that number. I like Washington. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a huge rookie year. He's my rookie of the year pick over a guy like Caleb Williams. The two guys not on this list in the top 10, Michael Penix Jr. and Drake May, won't be the starters. May will see the field. I don't know that Penix will. I think Atlanta wins the South, and I think Kirk Cousins plays too well for the Falcons.
I think Drake was the other guy we were talking about.
Maybe. Yeah, and it didn't feel really like he was going to be the week one guy, right? It didn't seem to make a lot of sense.
With Brissett there, it seems like Brissett probably starts, and then if they get opportunities, they'll use him.
Yeah. All right, let's take another quick time out here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, Dirty Difficult Done, Performance Industrial. We're back in a minute.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
Imagine coming home and slipping into your own personal hot tub from Wellness Spas. Our team at Alpenhaus wants to help you relax and enjoy the advantages of owning your very own hot tub. Visit us at Clifton Park Center in our newly expanded showroom on Route 30 in Amsterdam.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And back to King's Tavern here in Saratoga, and our partners from Saratoga Eagle, Bev's Distribution Center. But with Saratoga Eagle, of course, their cornerstones, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Neutral. As the NFL season starts to come here, Bud Light has this really cool competition 10 accounts around the capital region, including King's Tavern right here, where there is basically a toss-off competition. You can qualify, all right, for an opportunity to go to Las Vegas to compete for Super Bowl tickets.
Okay.
All right? An epic tournament. Super Bowl in New Orleans in 2025. The contestant who scores the most points in round 1 moves on to round 2 in the tournament. That winner will score a trip to Las Vegas for a final face-off for our grand prize. So come on out on Sundays during the NFL season at King's Tavern here and jump into this competition brought to you by Bud Light and our friends at Saratoga Eagle. Yeah, look, I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, right?
No.
Other than maybe a couple of beers you're going to have. That's no big deal.
Going to have them anyway.
A couple of retirements from this past week of note. The NFL's Colt McCoy, which was kind of funny because it was like, was he in the league? You know, it's.
Yeah, I always think he's a backup somewhere.
Yeah, I hate it when you're like, did he retire or did the league tell him we don't want you? Either way, he moves into a posh job right away, and that's as a Big Ten analyst. He'll do games for NBC in the fall. Not bad. He's got a big one to start. So they're putting him right into the one of the prime seats for Big Ten competition. Joey Votto retires from Major League Baseball, and I thought his tweet was funny.
One.
I'll be honest. Did you know he was in the minor leagues with the Toronto Blue Jays? Right. He's playing for the AAA team. He had some injuries that slowed the start of his year, and then he just wasn't hitting. And in his tweet, he basically was like, my dream was to play in front of Canadian home fans. And he just was like, I'm not good anymore. Can't do it. So even though Toronto is not good, Joey couldn't even get the call up to get an AB in front of his hometown Canadian fans.
But, kind of a bummer.
But he's a Hall of Famer, right? He's got it. No, okay, you're thinking about it. I think he's like a 296 career hitter, 350 some home runs, more than 1,100 RBIs. Now, in the new age of statistics, he might be a Hall of Famer. He was an on-base percentage, legend. 6-time All-Star, won an MVP, won a Gold Glove. He has a well-rounded career, and it feels like he will get into the Hall of Fame. Now, here's why I say that. He's arguably one of the greatest. He's arguably the greatest Canadian Major League Baseball player ever.
So you think that's like, it makes you different?
He ranks first or second among Canadian baseball players in all major statistical categories.
I'm not sure that
the only guy ahead of him is already in the Hall of Fame, Larry Walker.
Oh, we saw him go.
We did. Great speech.
He went in with Jeter a few years ago.
So it feels like now I'm very, very picky when it comes to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
As you should be.
I probably wouldn't vote for Joey Votto.
Listen, I understand. He's the Braves fan. If Andrew Jones isn't in, Joey Votto isn't in. It's one of the biggest crimes ever. The fact that Andrew Jones is not in the Hall of Fame, I can't. There needs to be more put on defense. It's such an offensive game, and I don't care if you can't calculate. I know you can somewhat.
Defensive run save.
I get it, but it's hard for people to understand exactly what that means. Yeah. There's an eye test. To say that Andrew Jones passed the eye test would be like it wouldn't even be fair. It's such a huge understatement. He's one of the great outfielders ever, and he hit too. Like, for me, that's kind of where I go, and I know you always kind of rag on that, but if there's a guy who I think should be in, then I always compare other guys to that guy, and it's like, he's not in. How are you getting in?
A lot of Braves fans would tell you Dale Murphy should be in also. For me, Andrew Jones, yes, he had such a steep fall off that really hurt his case. When he fell off the cliff. The days with the Dodgers and the Yankees were not pretty, and that's what a lot of voters remember is that, like, it was a 10, 11-year span in Atlanta and then quickly gone. So was it too brief? But not if you watched him play center field every day. You knew this guy is top 2 defensively. Andrew, he was a better center fielder than Jim Edmonds. Now, Edmonds had maybe more highlight catches. Jones played a better center field than Jim Edmonds. So if you want to say Willie Mays or Ken Griffey Jr. better defensively as a center fielder, I'll listen to that.
Yep.
But Jones is top 2, top 3. So, yeah, and that becomes the tricky, like, slippery scale here is, well, that guy's in, so this guy should be in. Well, now we're just opening it up to too many people.
Ooh, look at Troy. Holy smokes, he's making statements.
Yeah. And he spelled Andrew right, which I appreciate.
With the U, yeah. I'm not going to go that far. He's one of the great center fielders, one of the great outfielders of all time. I'm not going to give him my best.
Well, he's the best defensive center fielder ever.
I'm not going to give him that either.
Okay.
That's strong. It's strong.
Yeah, it is. But I just listed the only other two guys that I would consider maybe ahead of Andrew playing center field. Okay. Let's get into our dirty difficult done here. We teased at the commercial break. We're into it now. Here we go.
And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Belmont, John Wilcoxon, and the crowd and the crew from Performance Industrial. There's never a job that's too dirty or too difficult, Ash, for them to get it done. What do you got for us?
All right, it's kind of a simple one, but saw a picture, saw a couple articles. Simone Biles.
Yeah, what happened here?
Walks into Chicago for a game.
Her husband plays for the Bears.
Correct. Jonathan Owens plays for the Bears. They've been married now for a couple years. Used to be with the Packers. She walks in to Soldier Field with a Packers jacket on. I know it's the preseason. I know it's early. I know you just came from Paris winning medals, and you've got better things to worry about.
Stylist couldn't quite get her dimensions and measurements right for a new custom Bears jacket. We got to go with something that's already in the closet.
Even if you have to go with something that's already in the closet, you go with something that is not another NFL team.
Right. Nondescript.
Because not only was it not like the Texans, who are meaningless, it is one of Chicago's biggest rivals.
Their biggest.
A division rival.
Yeah.
And you walk in a Packers jacket to support your husband who plays for the Bears. Oh,
How about
Simone.
this?
Oh, Simone.
Troy says she's got so much going on. She's probably like, wait, we changed teams? He's gonna let it
Somebody
slide.
has to help her. You can't let her walk into that because she's going to get crushed.
And deservedly so.
She's an all-time great athlete. All her husband has to say is like, hey, honey, I'm on the Bears now. You can't wear Packers stuff.
Send a jersey over. Wear the jersey. I'm with you. This was how somebody in her circle doesn't think, maybe we shouldn't wear that jacket. Not the best look, but I think it's funny.
It's funny, and that's why I did it, because I think it's funny. But
And I don't know, is she poking fun at herself on social media about it? Are we going to see it in the Netflix series?
oh, maybe. Could be. You know what? She needs T Swizzle what's her name from San Francisco to make her the same jacket as T Swizzle.
Kyle
made.
Juszczyk's wife.
Kristen Juszczyk.
Yep.
Needs one of those cool jackets.
Yeah. All right, my dirty difficult done here. Paul Skeens should be shut down. He should be done for the season. Yes, you could push ahead another month, and maybe he wins Rookie of the Year. And that's a nice award to have. I'm sure every player would say, hey, for my rookie qualifying season, I'd like to win Rookie of the Year. I'd like to be able to say I was Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, maybe an MVP, maybe a World Series championship. But that's a signature award you only get one shot at.
Yes, the first time.
So this is his one shot, and I still say it doesn't matter enough. Don't let what happened to a guy like Steven Strasburg happen to a guy like Paul Skeens. Skeens has proven he is going to be a star for a long time, as long as he's healthy, and that has to be the number one priority here, keeping him healthy. And one big kind of sign that I saw in the last week, his last start, his average fastball was below 98 degrees. So he's at
98 degrees, like the
Nick Lachette. He's at 115 innings pitched. His last season at LSU, he threw 122. So he's there. Back off him, shut him down. You're not going to make the playoffs. Don't risk it anymore.
you were already, as a rookie, the all-star starter.
Yes.
That's basically the Rookie of the Year. Like,
even better.
Even if you said, hey, I didn't win Rookie of the Year because they shut me down, but I started in the All-Star game as a rookie. There are way fewer guys to do that than to win Rookie of the Year because someone wins Rookie of the Year every year. So it's actually a more exclusive club.
Yeah. Troy says maybe keep pitching them, but don't push them over 100 pitches. Okay, but the Tommy John injury can come on pitch 5, right? Like, I just think it's the overall wear and tear of a season and a guy who wants to throw over 100 miles per hour every time he throws a fastball. And so I agree, Sam, it is too bad for a team that needs to sell tickets and a fan base that wants the excitement of a guy like Paul Skeens. But I'd rather have the excitement for the next 12 years than the next month and a half.
You want it to last.
Let's keep our eye on the prize here in Pittsburgh. So I'm hoping they do that. It certainly sounds like that's going to be part of the plan. All right, we'll take a timeout here on Onorato and Miller. We'll go to our guest, Anthony Weaver, Saratoga Springs grad, star at Notre Dame, second-round pick into the NFL, played with the Ravens and the Texans, and even his coaching career took him to Houston and Baltimore. Now he's the guy calling the shots for the defense in Miami, and you could argue there may be no more important defensive coordinator in football than Anthony Weaver because of what that offense can do in Miami and how much they might need the help of the defense to win them games when it gets cold. We'll talk with Anthony Weaver from Saratoga Springs next here on Onorato and Miller. Back in a minute.
It's always a good time there. Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel. It's always a good time. Learn more at SaratogaCasino.com. It's always a good time.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
We have a producer in the newsroom at News Channel 13 tells a hilarious story about our next guest. Anytime, the Texans were playing or the Ravens and now the Dolphins. And so when I said, hey, we're going to talk with Anthony Weaver, I got the story again. And it was about how he hated having to play Saratoga and Pop Warner because Coach Weaver back then was a running back just plowing people, stiff-arming and running through them like Jim Brown highlight videos. So that story comes up again and again in the News Channel 13 newsroom over and over. And, man, I'm so pumped to talk with Anthony Weaver here. Got an opportunity to do it radio, but now a chance to do it here on TV in our podcast, Onorato and Miller. Let's bring him to the conversation now. The Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver. Anthony, who lacks sleep more? Somebody on Caroline Street after a day at the track in Ciro's or a DC prepping for Patrick Mahomes?
That is close. That is certainly up for debate. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm gonna lean towards the Caroline Street crew just because I think their night starts a little later than mine. but it's definitely debatable for sure.
A little more pressure, though, on you, that's for sure. First of all, man, thanks for doing the show. Congratulations on the new position in Miami, just on the surface level here. No regular season games yet, but how's everything going? I mean, the praise coming out of camp for you, and I'll run through it here a little bit later on, is unbelievable. People love being around you, love being in your system. How's it been for you?
Things have been phenomenal here, right? And I think that all stems from the culture that Mike McDaniel has built here. Guys come to work every day. They're excited to come to work. So it makes it easy as a coach. Like, sure, you're just trying to make sure you maximize their talent, maximize their time in the building. And fortunately for me, guys have responded to that. So I'm hoping that same feedback stays the same once we're about 4 regular season games in.
I don't want this to come off as an insult because you went to Notre Dame, which is obviously a great college institution. Is McDaniel the smartest guy you've been around as a coach?
I don't want to insult anybody I've worked with,
Yeah.
but he's certainly up there near the top. You talk about a guy that from a big picture standpoint gets it and understands it, and it's certainly him. He's always in there in the lab. So trust me, during this camp, we've seen some things from that offense that I'm just like, thank God I do not have to face this, where it actually counts against our records, because man, it is incredible some of the things that they come up with.
You probably thought that, even though like seeing Lamar every day too. I mean, what are the challenges? Because Tua is not the same quarterback as Lamar, but he's got weapons like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. What are the challenges as a defensive coordinator having to worry about a guy like a Lamar Jackson? I've got a list of quarterbacks you're going to see here who are mobile: Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray. That challenge as opposed to a high-flying offense where they might beat you 70 yards down the field.
Yeah. First off, from a quarterback standpoint, like I think our guy, just from pure thrower of the football, accuracy, understanding of defensive scheme and where the ball's supposed to be delivered, he is second to none. He is outstanding. All those guys you mentioned are all great in their own right. They all have certain traits that make them what they are. But this offense that we have here in Miami, you talk about speed all over the field. That makes it an absolute nightmare for defensive coaches, because you're always trying to see who you can take away, but you don't have enough bodies to take all the weapons we have away. So that's what makes our offense so difficult to defend. The Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, they're incredible players. I think what makes them most dangerous, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, are the off-script plays that you get, or play after the play, right? You've gotten everybody defended. You think you made a great call, and then they scramble around and throw a chunk play that hits you for 50 or run for 40 yards. And those are the things that you just, as a defensive coordinator, as a defense, you got to live with a little bit and just hope ultimately you can keep them out of the end zone.
How much have you borrowed along the way, having played for a guy like Rex Ryan and then coaching under him as well, through all your journeys, even back to your playing days, Anthony? How much have you kind of borrowed from other coaches to what your style is now? Last year, Ravens defense led the league in points per game, led the league in sacks. Are you a guy that just always wants to dial up pressure? How do you find the balance?
Yeah, I think I lean on all of those collective experiences, and I think everybody does, particularly when you're in a position of leadership, right? When you're asked to make those calls. So I don't know if there's any one particular coach I've worked under, a particular scheme I've played under that has just wholeheartedly made this what it is. I think it's a true accumulation of every place I've been, and I've been fortunate where I've been around a lot of great defensive minds and great defensive players, and lean on those experiences in what I do every day.
People who know you well from your Saratoga days, when I said, hey, we're going to talk with Anthony. Tony! Tell way too many people for me to name, but saying, tell Tony we said hello. So that's a collective hello from your Saratoga squad.
I got a story about that. Yeah. So my entire upbringing, until I left Notre Dame, I was Tony Weaver. My friends prior to me playing for the Ravens in 2002 referred to me as T Weave. Everybody post that calls me Anthony. Now what happened was 2002, when I get drafted to the Ravens, they undergo a cap purge. Number 98 for the Ravens was Tony Saragusa. So I'm given number 98. So I can't go by Tony anymore, because Tony is Goose. Yeah. Right? So from that moment on, I went by my full government name, and I've been Anthony Weaver ever since. I love it. I love my name. I love it. My parents gave it to me. I love it. But yeah, prior to that, so everybody you meet that knows me from my time in Saratoga, they're gonna say, hey, tell Tony I said what's up.
That's funny, man. I love that story. Do you remember the days of just being a dominating ball carrier?
Yeah, man, I miss those days, particularly my knees. My knees miss those days. But yeah, man, that was good times. Growing up, I was a huge Christian Okoye fan. Oh, so Coach Giuliano and Coach Dempsey and Coach Goose, when I was at Saratoga, they gave me that opportunity to play running back, and man, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun back then.
All right. What's hanging around the office late night snack that's in trouble if you're there working on game film by yourself?
I got to be honest. I try to keep it pretty healthy. So
I can tell.
I tend to eat like mixed nuts, things like that. Something that I don't think is going to pack a whole lot of pounds in me. My wife is gorgeous. All right, so I have to make sure that I keep some of these guys at bay. All right, I got to stay in shape.
I love that, and she'll love hearing it. All right, what give me a stadium that maybe provides Miami can't be the answer. Give me a stadium where you get the biggest home field advantage as a defense. Either having experienced it yourself as a player or a coach, or you've gone in some places and you're like, man, I don't know how we're here in a snap count today.
Yeah. So, I tend to think that the stadiums in the AFC North and the NFC North get the loudest. Now, what I tell people is that well, in the wintertime in the AFC North and NFC North, like there's not a whole lot else to do but go and cheer for football. You start getting into, you're in the NFC West, you're in the AFC South. Like, there's some stuff to do in those states. Like, people are going to be at the beach, right? Yep. So those stadiums, man, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, your Detroit's, like they get incredibly loud. So those ones are difficult for sure. They're fun when you're on the defense side of the ball for sure.
Do you? I know this is going to sound like a stupid question because I'm sure the answer is no, really on a basic level. But when you see the offense that the Dolphins have, does that change the way you approach a game, maybe week to week, or maybe your overall approach as a DC?
I think you're always trying to take in the big picture of how you're trying to win that particular game. In terms of what our offense is doing and how that changes us, I don't think that necessarily affects us at all. Ultimately, we're trying to look at what the opposing offense is presenting to us and doing everything we can to prevent yards and points.
All right, so guys like Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell and Jalen Phillips have said incredible things about being with you, alongside you, playing for you in your system. And that's all great to hear, and I would kind of expect it. But when I hear somebody like Teron Armstead call your defense spooky, I think, oh, that Miami could be in for something special this year. I know you don't read all of this stuff or hear all this stuff, Anthony, but when it is said back to you in that way, what sense of pride do you get, having done all of the work you've done to get to this point?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm incredibly prideful in what we're doing here in Miami, and the thing that I really want to convey is it's not. I never look at it as my defense, right? I'm always looking at it as our defense, and the coaching staff I have with Joe Barry and Ryan Slowick, Brian Duker, these players that you just mentioned, Jalen Phillips, Calais, Ramsey, Javon Holland. I can go on and on and on. They are what makes it spooky. From a defensive standpoint, like everybody does, everybody has good scheme, right?
Yeah.
I think we do a good job with how we make it look multiple and the illusion of multiplicity and where we're able to put guys and things of that nature. But what makes it spooky is the collective group and what we bring here every single day. We try to attack each and every day with purpose and intent. And that's the vision of our head coach. And we want to make sure we do everything we can to make that vision a reality.
All right, last few things here, but I want to hit on, Calais Campbell is he's not spooky. That guy's scary. Like, who else would you want to be in a dark alley with than that guy?
Yeah, I'm definitely, I'd feel very comfortable if I was in that alley with Calais for sure.
A monster. All right, if you're not watching film, either late night, on the plane, whatever, what are you watching?
Oof, that's a good one. Well, lately I've been watching a lot of Olympics, right? I think we all were for at least a couple of weeks there.
Give me an Olympic sport. If I said to you, you've got to pick one sport that you might medal in, what would it be?
That I would medal in?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think I could beat the Australian breakdancer. Let me say that. I have a mean robot that I think would have been able to beat her sprinkler. Okay, I'll just say that. But those other sports, man, I think those people are so incredible. What's most amusing to me is by the end of the Olympics, you know, it's the only time I'm watching gymnasts, right? Only time I'm watching diving.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the Olympics, everybody thinks they can score it, which to me is most amusing. They're like, "Oh no, she deserved way higher score." It's like, how do you know? We don't know the intricacies of the moves they were trying to do. But by the end, we all think we're experts, and that's what's most amusing to me.
I mean, Simone Biles flips and spins so fast, I don't even know what she was supposed to do if she did with it.
She is remarkable. You talk about a human marvel. And I was fortunate enough where, you know, she's a Texas girl. So when I was with the Texans and Jonathan Owens was there, I was able to see her quite a bit. But she is incredible.
Crazy. All right, man. Listen, I appreciate the time so much here. But we didn't even mention the rookie Chop Robinson, who you'll bring along. I mean, some of the pass rushers that you've had under your wings over the years, it's pretty impressive. I know you'll be adding his name to the list here. Good luck this season, man. We can't wait to watch from afar here up in the Capital Region. You know, the 518 is always rooting for you, Anthony. Appreciate the time.
Oh, no problem, man. I got so much love for the 518, man. Wish everybody the best always.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Imagine coming home after a long day and slipping into your own personal hot tub from Wellness Spas. Let the stress of the day melt away as you soak in the therapeutic benefits of the water. Our team at Alpenhaus wants to help you relax and enjoy the advantages of owning your very own hot tub. We're confident we can help you find the perfect hot tub for you and your family. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs. Visit us at Clifton Park Center in our newly expanded showroom on Route 30 in Amsterdam.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And back live. Back live now, King's Tavern in Saratoga. And another quick reminder here that thanks to our friends at Saratoga Eagle, you've got an opportunity to win a trip to the Super Bowl through a football toss game, they're calling it. Bud Light, the presenting sponsor of that. You want more information, you want a chance to go to the Super Bowl, come to King's Tavern on an NFL Sunday throughout the season. Have a couple of drinks, watch the games here at King's. TVs all over the place. They've got the ticket, of course. You can see any game you want here at King's on an NFL Sunday. All right, Ash, this happened a couple of nights ago. Caitlin Clark is now the WNBA's all-time leader in assists for a rookie.
Not surprising.
In a single season. She's going to obliterate this record with 11 games still to go. And if she stays at her current pace of about 9 assists a game, she will set the single season all-time record for assists in a season.
Listen, I said it, I think, last year, and maybe even again once she was drafted. She is an incredibly talented shooter and scorer. Her greatest skill is her passing. Her greatest, and it's not, I don't even think it's that close. Her greatest skill is her passing. And that's something you can always do. Like, if you're not hitting, you can always pass. So she can always affect the game, even if she's not, if she's cold from three, if she just can't find her shot, she can always pass, and she's so talented. She gets all of her teammates involved. So I'm not at all surprised by that. I love the fact that she's going to obliterate it, because the people who kind of knock her, this is all you have to tell them. Like, she's super valuable, even if just for that.
Yeah. You want to handle this one, and I'll weigh in on Clark?
I'll be there. Troy, I will be there on the sideline every home game.
To your point on Clark here, yes, she has had those nights where she struggles to shoot it well and to score. But if you're going to average about 9 assists a game, I mean, think about, again, to your point, how you are affecting the game. Indiana already has as many wins this year as they had all of last year. She might make them a playoff team she should be, and it might be closer than it should be, she should be the runaway Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is an automatic double-double. I get that. But every other statistical category and the way Clark affects the game, it's just not even close. And the dynamic that Clark brings to the Fever is so much greater than what Reese brings to the Sky. The threat of making threes and shooting from as deep as she does, the way it opens things up for her teammates. You have to look at the whole picture here. Caitlin Clark alone on the business of the league could be the Rookie of the Year, but she's delivering on the court as well. I get it.
That's not how it works. And I think she should win it. I wouldn't say it should be a runaway. I think it's probably a lot closer, and it should be a lot closer. But I think she should win it.
Yeah. And she will. She will win it. We're not going to have to worry about, oh my gosh, how did Caitlin Clark not win WNBA Rookie of the Year? Would you pay to watch Noah Lyles and Tyreek Hill race? If you make it a Netflix event, and you've got
I subscribe to
Lyles,
Netflix, so if I don't have to pay more than I already pay.
Yeah, I think, don't they have a way to make pay-per-view through Netflix already? Maybe it's an ESPN Plus thing. You've got to pay pay-per-view like a UFC fight. Would you pay to watch this race that may only be like 10 seconds long?
That's
so
all.
You've got to have a lot of good build-up and pre-game, and who's part of the studio crew talking about this, and how can you squeeze an hour out of a 10-second race?
You could, but I mean, you need all access to these guys. All access. I'm not paying for it because I'm cheap and I'm not going to pay for a 10-second race. But I'm interested. I'm interested in everything that it has to offer. Number one, because
Sam's a no.
They love to talk. Who loves to talk more than Noah Lyles and Tyreek Hill on this planet? There aren't many people who love to talk more than the both of them. So the lead up would be great. The trash talk would be great. I would like to see it, but I don't know that I'd pay to see it.
Well, you don't have to worry about it because I would pay to see it. I won't pay for Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
Yeah, I'm
not interested.
I'm done with that.
But this is something we've never really seen before. So I'll pay for that. And I also think that, look, Noah Lyles isn't going to do this at a distance shorter than 100 meters. And Tyreek Hill's not going to do it at a distance greater than 100 meters. And I don't know that Hill's going to do it more than even like a 40 or 50-yard dash. So this won't happen. It should, but it won't happen. I would absolutely pay to see this.
Two of the fastest men in the world.
No question. Who do you think would win?
I think now Lyles. He's trained to be a track and field athlete. He's trained out of the blocks. He's trained from the start line. He's been training to run. Tyreek Hill would need to practice and train to be a runner again. He just runs fast, but he runs routes. Like on a straight shot, I think Noah Lyles. He's younger. He's younger. He's a track star. He's not a football player.
Lyles will smoke him. What do we have coming up next week here? We're pumped for this one. Again, we'll be on Thursday night at 6:30 on News Channel 13's Facebook and YouTube. The two ways to catch us on TV every single weekend. And Syracuse head coach Fran Brown bringing the football program back to relevancy.
Let's hope.
There's a lot of juice behind the Orange program right now. I mean, a lot of juice. The schedule is soft.
It is
no
soft.
Florida State, no Clemson. I mean, I was looking at the schedule today when we were getting ready for this interview, and we'll bring it to you next week. Fran Brown, the head coach at Syracuse, and I thought, if they don't win 8 games, that's a disappointment. They should be at least 8-4.
I just care.
Miami's a tough one. Georgia Tech's a tough one. NC State is ranked. But outside of those 3, and Pitt, at Pitt, those I marked as the 4 losses. Sorry, but 8 feels like they should get there.
Yeah, the expectations, I would argue, have never been higher. I mean, in the last
25 years?
Yes. Pre-Greg Robinson, when I was at school, like the expectations have never been higher because I think it's like, wow, we have a quarterback who people have heard of before he went to Syracuse, which doesn't happen very often. Donovan McNabb people knew who he was, but established himself in his career there. Kyle McCord made a name for himself before he came to Syracuse, and it was like when he announced he was coming, people were like, "What? You're going where?" There aren't a lot of people of good quality football players who choose to go to Cuse, and Fran Brown has seemingly started to kind of already change that. So I hope he can continue it. Yes, a good quarterback, but he'll tell you all about some of the other guys that he has who he's super excited about. It was a fun conversation. He's all about the S, as he calls it. Nothing bigger than the S. Oh, get out of here, Sam. I've been to the Pinstripe Bowl twice, and I don't want to go back.
Listen, 8 wins will get you better than the Pinstripe Bowl.
No doubt, but who cares? If it doesn't get you in the playoff, who cares?
Really? Wait a minute. Syracuse can't get beyond 6 wins.
For Syracuse, yes. I
If
would,
they get to 8, you're not, like, thrilled?
no, I am, but I just mean, like, I'm not overly excited to watch something other than the playoff. I will watch Syracuse in any bowl game. It doesn't thrill me unless you're in the playoff.
Okay, understood. All right, I'll put the win total at 7.5 for Syracuse this year.
And you're going over.
I'm going to go over. And I know almost nothing about this team. Let's be honest. Other than the quarterback, you've got high school recruits. The class coming in is very good, as they rank them. God bless you.
Thank you.
And the transfer portal, but nobody really knows.
Until you see it on the field.
But there's a lot of excitement.
There
around
are
the
more
program.
4-star recruits than Syracuse has had in a long time, and that excites me.
There's a college football game this Saturday that people will watch in Dublin. Florida State and Georgia Tech. The Seminoles, is there a hangover to the effect of not making the playoff last year? And all those obviously hand-wringing and complaining that happened because they didn't get in after going undefeated, winning their conference. Will Florida State have a hangover, or are they more motivated now than ever before they're going to blow the doors off Tech?
Yeah, I think they'll blow the doors off Tech. I think they'll be motivated, but they won't have the season that they had last year, is my guess.
A lot of people love Miami in the ACC.
Why
this
are
year.
we making the Irish, not the team, the people, watch Florida State, Georgia Tech?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Notre Dame was there last year against Navy.
It should always be Notre Dame.
Makes
though.
sense.
Almost always.
Yeah.
Notre Dame and somebody else.
Yeah.
Why are we sending 2 random teams to Ireland to play?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It's a good question. I'm sure there's a reason, and I just haven't read it yet. But that's happening on Saturday, and then really on the 31st, we get into the thick of college football season. Talk about the Irish, Notre Dame. They open at Texas A&M, a really good one. You get Clemson taking on Georgia, opening Saturday as well. I mean, we are jumping both feet in
Pretty good.
this time next Saturday. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on Onorato and Miller. One more look at that Travers Field ahead of Saturday's 155th Midsummer Derby. You want to make your pick for the crowd?
I'm obviously going to pick the lady.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know anything about horse racing, so I'm going to go with my heart, not my head. Torpedo Anna. Get it, girl.
Dornoch won the Belmont here at Saratoga, won the Haskell.
Sure.
I'm going to take Fierceness.
All right.
Fierceness was the number 1 pick for the Derby so early on, and then he won the Jim Dandy here. Give me Fierceness.
We always
to
talk
win
about
here.
Chad Brown. Is it the year?
And we usually
This will
pick
be the
Chad
year
Brown.
when we don't pick him.
Yeah, he probably will win. So put your money on Sierra Leone, everybody. Have a great weekend.